What? Ga slapen alsjeblieft. So guys, a little summary. If you want to make this shirt, this is unisex. I think both can qualify as unisex shirts. So whether you're a girl or a boy, you can just go ahead and make these. 2021, who cares? They're super casual, like I said, and yes, they do qualify as unisex in my opinion. So first, look at this. You want to have one with short sleeve or one with long sleeves. They will be indicated with an A or a B. See? Short sleeve is A, long sleeve is B. Next, you're gonna look at what kind of pieces, how many pieces you need. These are the pieces for A, short sleeve. These are the pieces for B. Really, guys, it's no rocket science. Don't be intimidated. I'm telling you this because I was intimidated too. Because I grew up actually with a whole family that was into sewing. And you might be wondering why I didn't pick up. Well, because you didn't care as a child. I went and climbed trees, went through rivers, mountains. This is the last thing that I cared about. When I saw my aunts and grandma sewing, it's like, oh my God, this is super boring. But yeah, and actually all the girls in the neighborhood, we had a Catholic church right where I was living in North Morocco. There were a lot of nuns that were doing actually this, giving girls free sewing courses, and girls loved it. So whether you were Catholic, Muslim, doesn't care. You just went, and it was always a ball. And mothers could take their children with them. You had this courtyard where you can play and the whole thing. So yeah, sewing was a big thing where I grew up. So I think that's how the bug of sewing crawled into my system. Anyway, and sometimes as a child, I would go into the room with all those sewing machines, and I would see all these papers, and I would see patterns pinned to fabric, and I'd be like, oh my God, who does that? Who understands this? It's just mishmash chaos. And I think that's the image that I always kept in my mind. Very intimidated, not gonna make any sense out of it. But I tell you guys, if you have that scary movie in your mind when you look at this, look, even Miko is picking it up as we speak. He's already making his own clothes. So it's really easy. These are the steps that you follow. Choose which model you want. Each model corresponds with what pieces and how many pieces. And then the next step is cut out these pieces. Look at the indications, the letters. Sometimes you see an A and a B on a piece, which means this piece is needed for both versions. So again, that don't be intimidated by that also. So cut them out. Make sure that you have the right size. Here you see how to determine your size. In this case, unless you're very tiny and some sort of a Twinkie, you have to worry whether something is too big or not. But if you're like us and you have just medium to chubby body, don't worry. Just go ahead and cut out the biggest size, the last outline of these pieces. Just cut it out. Don't worry about it, because you need to have, if you're a little bit chubby, you need to have something that's nice and loose. We don't want to be looking like sausages. So do that. Cut them out. 7 pieces. Then next step is copy them to the fabric, and that will be the next video. We're just gonna do it step by step, you guys, and just enjoy it. All right. So, like I said to the fellow new beginners, I hope you're following with me this journey to see whether we can make shirt out of this or not. And I hope I'm not giving you too much info all at once. That's why I try to keep them per subject, categorized. And yeah, next step, copying to the fabric, which we'll be doing, God willing. And Luna will be there to help us, which we'll be doing in the next video. So see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and comment. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day from me, Mike, and the kittens. Bye. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back. As I told you in the last segment of the last video, in this video, I will be sharing with you, me as a beginner. Like I said, this is for the beginners, like for the very, very hardcore beginners are these videos, because I'm one too. So I'm sharing as I learn, as I go. Like I said, today we're going to copy the pieces that we cut out from the pattern in the last video, how and what's what. Miko, no! I have an iron being... Miko, no! Nay! Sorry about that. Anyway, that's really dangerous. I cannot take any risk, guys. So I'm sorry about that. He was hanging on the thread of the iron, so that's big no. Miko, no! Okay, this is clearly not going to be able to make this video today, so I'm gonna keep it fast and short. For this, how to copy the pattern pieces on the fabric, just make sure that first, lay each fabric on a piece of, each piece of your pattern that you cut out on a piece of fabric. Make sure that it's more than enough, see? Take also a little bit of extra space, see, like that, so that you know that this piece of fabric will be more than enough for this piece of pattern. So cut it out and then iron it, because when you iron it, it's just much easier to work with the fabric. That's what I'm gonna do. Very, very important note, you guys. Make sure that you know which pieces of pattern must be laid on top of a folded fabric to get two pieces at once automatically when you do that, because once you cut it out, you can just fold it out and you have two pieces at once. So usually it's the pieces where it also says on the fold, see, and it says only one. Usually that is an indication that you have to fold it on, you have to put that piece on a folded fabric, see? So just make sure that you pay attention to this. So like this is going on a folded fabric, but also the collar and the collar band. I know for a fact, those three pieces at least should go on a folded fabric. So let's do that. Let's do that for all the pieces. Again, take your piece of the pattern, put it on a piece of fabric that you know that's more than enough, and iron that piece of fabric, and then come back to it and then start pinning it on the fabric to cut it out eventually. Because like I said, when you iron your fabric, it's just much easier to work with. So guys, again, this is not for you if you're already experienced or an expert in sewing. This is for us, the beginners, like the hardcore beginners. This is where the double-sided tape will come in handy. So for now, because I want to copy this to the fabric, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to copy it like draw the outline. I'm actually going to glue it on the fabric, and that will be it. That will be how I'll cut out the fabric. So to do that, to keep it in place, because this paper is terrible to work with, I'm going to use the double-sided tape here, as you can see, and then glue this, tape this on here on the fabric. Yes, and this is the tape that dissolves once you wash the fabric. So, by the way, it's really recommended to wash the fabric before, when you're working on a serious project. This is just practicing, but when you're working on a serious project and you've come to that stage, wash the fabric first, just to prevent it from shrinking, and so that you won't have a difference in your measurements. Anyway, because sometimes fabrics do that, they shrink a little bit. So yeah, so let's just do that. People too, yeah, as we get older. Sometimes. So I'm gonna do this, the tape, depending on whether it's really needed, or the smaller pieces I think I could do without taping them to the fabric. Otherwise, I'll be doing this method for all the pieces, working with the double-sided tape. No worries here, Mark is just knocking some stuff over.
Miko.
Oh, Miko.
Miko jumped up.
Miko jumped on the table. All right. I'm going to do this with all the pieces and then come back to you guys. Again, make sure that you iron every piece of fabric that you want to copy something onto. So guys, once you take off the upper layer of the double-sided tape, this is what you see. Namely nothing, see? Nothing at all. You can't tell that there is tape on it. Well, maybe here a little bit. How depends on how the light falls on it. But just giving you, showing you that you don't have to worry. It will dissolve. It will dissolve once you wash it. So even if you're not practicing anymore, you just want to keep it easy on yourself. Why not? Why shouldn't you? Use this. Don't worry about it. It will dissolve. See? There it is. It doesn't have any color or anything, so it won't ruin your fabric in no way. So guys, if you want to be careful with your tape, not to waste too much tape, what you can do is just, instead of the whole line, just do this. Cut a little piece. Make sure that you tape it first to the pattern piece, and then take off the outer layer, and then make sure that there are no bubbles. You know, go over it like this with your hand, no bubbles, and then tape it on the fabric. That way it will stay on its place and it will be easy to cut it out. So if you do this last method that I showed you, it will be, of course, a very cheap and economical way of using your tape. In that case, I would just do one here in the middle of the shoulder, and then in the middle of this bottom line. But for this long line, I prefer to do the whole thing along the whole line, or just make sure that you have them on multiple places there where the fold is. And once you're finished, you're gonna end up with something like this. Look, doesn't come off the fabric, it moves along with the fabric. See? So now it will be much easier to handle while cutting it out. And that's the next step. Guys, to cut out your piece, once it's glued on the fabric, you can use, a scissor, especially, and reserve this especially for only cutting out fabric. Otherwise, it's gonna spoil and it won't do you any good. So you can use this, or you can use a fabric with these little teeth. What this does, this scissor helps the fabric to not unravel even further, or you can use one of these cutters. And especially on a project like this, in this step, in this stage, where you have to go another line to cut out the fabric, it really is perfect to use this thing. Just one time. Make sure you always put it back in the safe mode when you're not using it, because these blades are really sharp, especially if you have kids around, or pets, or you yourself. Sometimes you forget that it's in the open mode. So make sure you always put it back safe mode.
After use.
After use, yeah.
So that should be something that is done automatically.
Yeah, but then again, it will be much expensive.
No, for yourself.
Oh yeah, that you remember that, yeah.
Finished, close it.
But
Team.
Right, and then you just push it aside, and there it is. Very, very easy. Yeah, you guys, our first piece on folded fabric. Look, folded fabric, and it's not cut in half because it says so here on the fold. So start only cutting things in half that you have on double fabric once you've checked and double checked. Your then next step is to cut them in half to get two separate pieces. It's not always the case, so make sure that you've checked that and double checked. So for now, this is good. I'm going to continue with the rest. Basically the same method that I used here. So take the next piece. So that was the back. This is the front. So take this as an example. It doesn't say on the fold. Meaning this is not going to be like two panels still as one part. This is not going to be something that you have to cut from a folded fabric and then unfold it and you have one piece. Because of this, we need two separate pieces. But you can use the same pattern piece to cut it out. So what I'm going to do, even for this, I'm going to do a folded fabric if possible, because it's just much easier. The fabric that's folded is just much easier to get two out of it than when you have to align two moving separate fabric pieces. It's just a hell. You have to use pins and all that to keep them apart because, you know, otherwise you end up with one part is bigger than the other. So I always use, for these kind of stuff, pieces that I have to have two of and they need to be identical, I always use fabric that I fold. Then I iron it to get all the wrinkles out. And then I'm gonna tape this on it and then cut it out. And then because this doesn't say on the fold, I have to have two separate pieces. Then I'm gonna unfold it. And then with this, you know, with this, I'm gonna cut it in half. And I know where the half is because that's the line that I will be making with the iron. When I iron it, I make sure that I'll press it extra hard on the outer line so that I know that that's the line where I will be separating it. That's the line that what I will be cutting in the whole line to get two separate pieces. I hope it makes sense, you guys. These kind of technicalities is really not my strongest side to explain, but I hope you understand what I mean. So first, I'm gonna put this on a piece of fabric, decide how much fabric I need, just like with the first one, then cut it out. It will be a rough cutout, just to make sure that I have enough fabric to put this on. Then that fabric, which will be folded in this case, will be ironed, and then I'll come back here and then try to glue this on it and then cut it out more accurately. Again, like I did with the first piece. So to give it to you in visual steps for the front, first fold the fabric in two, like this. Do not iron it yet, not yet. Then take that piece that you need to cut out and lay it on that piece of fabric, just roughly. You don't have to be very accurate yet, just like this, okay? So now, what I meant by do a rough cutout, first cutout, is that now I know that this piece needs this much of fabric. So to stay on the safe side, I'm gonna cut more than I need. So just a rough cutout. That's what I mean by a rough cutout, as I will show you in a minute. Guys, I was just thinking, you know, not to waste too much fabric, which is okay. This is just the practice fabric, but if you want to, you know, very, how do you say that? Do not want to use a lot of your fabric. What you can do instead of this and then waste all this fabric, what you can do is put your piece of pattern more like here, give it an extra space, okay? More like here. This is a double fabric, remember. So put it here and then make the fold right there. So fold the fabric right there. So instead of wasting this fabric, you're going to be making the fold right there, and then you end up with more fabric beneath it. So that's it. That way you won't be using too much fabric. But for now, I'm just going to keep it easy on myself because I'm noticing that I'm getting a little tired. I'm doing these two videos back to back. So I'm just going to do it like this and continue. So this is my rough fabric cutout that I just finished ironing. Now, I'm gonna do the same thing. Look, it's still folded, by the way, guys. I keep stressing this. This is still folded. Now I'm gonna add this on there. Always the longest line along the fold line. So the longest line of your pattern piece, which is this one. See the longest straight line? That one is shorter because this is the lower part of your armhole and this goes up to the neck. See, so that one I'm gonna line it with the fold line, use the double-sided tape, and basically do the same thing as what I did just now with the first piece, and then cut it out. So there it is, you guys. Our shirt is coming together. This is an extra, I think extra large shirt. Like I said, I don't want to have to worry about which line I need to follow. Not that that's a mission on itself, complicated or anything, but just wanted to keep it easy right now. So this is the back. This is the first one that we cut out. This is the front. This is the one that I just finished cutting out. I put it side to side just to show you guys little hints that you can pay attention to. Is that here it says unfold, one time, cut. Doesn't mean that you have to have one of this, but it means when you put this on folded fabric, you do only one time a cutout of the outline, and it gives you two. And you keep it as is. You keep it as a whole. So although it's on folded fabric, you keep it as a whole, one piece. One time cut means one piece on folded fabric. Once it says so here, on fold. This one is also on folded fabric, but this one says 2 times cut, which means of the same piece, you need to have 2 separated pieces. So to make it easy on yourself, I told you, do this one also on folded fabric, and then make sure that you press extra hard while pressing it, while ironing it, and then use that line, the outer line, to separate them to get 2 pieces. This is the easiest way to do it, by far. So that's what I'm gonna do. So as you can see, what we have here is 90% of the shirt that's done. See, this is how it's going to be next to each other. See? And if you're thinking, this is weird, why is this shoulder sticking out? That's because we're gonna sew a yoke to that end. Again, this is not something that you have to do. It's just to make it a little bit fancier. But you can also say that you do not want the yoke. In that case, you're just gonna have them, both pieces with the same length right here. But I'm telling you this, but there's also a but, there's also a little but, because the armholes are not identical on the front and on the back, just to make things even complicated. The armhole, the one is a little bit higher, the other one is a little bit lower. It's just how it works. It's crazy, it's just how it works. And that's what gives you the perfect sleeve. So back to the front, the last one I finished cutting out. Like I said, 2-time cut. We did it on folded fabric. So now I'm going to unfold it like this, and then follow this line right in the middle. Follow it, preferably with this one. You can do it with the scissor, like I said, but this one is much easier. It's not really expensive, not at all, you guys, and it does save you a lot of trouble. So I'm gonna follow that line, and then that one will give me 2 pieces instantly. All right, there it is. 2 cuts, 2 pieces. This is the front. It's taking shape, right, guys? This is the front. Buttons, buttonholes. That's how it's gonna be. So, I'm gonna fold this and keep it together. Make sure that you keep pieces that belong together, keep them together, otherwise you're gonna have a problem with that. So, moving on to the sleeves. Remember, we're going for the short sleeve shirt. So, again, it says 2 times cut, which means I'm going to do this on folded fabric. But, no, there is no but. I'm gonna do it on folded fabric like this. So this on folded fabric will give me 2 cuts. And then do the same trick like I did with the one that I just showed you. There where the fold line is, I'm gonna cut it in half and gives me 2 pieces. So for this, do the same method as I did for the front, what I just showed you. And then we're gonna cut it and end up with 2 pieces, okay? So for this also, use folded fabric. Again, do the same steps. Put this on a piece of folded fabric, do a rough cutout, iron it, come back, glue this on there, tape it on there with the double-sided tape, and then cut it out. Still on the double folded fabric. Well, not double folded fabric, but the double-sided tape. And for this also, the visual explanation, because I hate that sometimes. finally you find a good video, and then they do cutouts. They cut out like crucial steps for you as a beginner. They're crucial, but maybe for the person that's making the video, they're not valuing it as much as you would as a beginner. So I would be like, okay, but how did you do it? So that's why I tend to always add, the visual explanations, I like to call it. So again, we have here, same step, fold the fabric in half, double, fold the fabric double, like here. See, 1 layer, 2 layer. Line this along the folded line, like this. This is the sleeve, but just fold it all the way open. And then do a rough cutout, which means approximately the piece of fabric it's going to be needed for this. Cut it out, then iron it, come back, still keep it still folded. Don't cut anything in half. Just cut out this, approximately what you're going to need. Iron it, come back, use the double-sided tape, tape this on it, on the fabric, and then cut it out like I showed you with the other pieces. So do that, and I'll continue after that. And there are our sleeves. See? So we're going to fold this open, and that will give us 2 sleeves same time. And then follow this line again to cut them and separate them from each other. So far I have 4 pieces, pattern pieces, that still need to be copied on the fabric. So I have what they call the yoke, the back yoke. I have the collar band, and I have the pocket. So the pocket is just as is, going to copy that one on fabric, just not on folded fabric, 1 cut as it says. The collar band is going to be on folded fabric, and then you want to keep it as a whole. So on folded fabric, cut it out, and then keep it as a whole. This, however, the collar, they say we want 2 cuts, which means you're going to put it on folded fabric and then cut it, separate it from each other from here, which I do not understand. Why not keep it as is? I'll tell you more about that when we're going to sew them actually together, because I don't know what burda or burda, I don't know how you pronounce it, style is, but usually the collar band and the collar are just kept as 1 piece. So you cut them out from a folded fabric, so you fold it out, and then you have 1 big piece with the same ends. Goes for that one too. That's how you keep it. Why cut it in half? Because it needs to go around the whole neck. So, and the buttons will keep it, close it, as you know, normally see on a shirt. So you don't have to cut it in half, but I'll dive into it and tell you guys what's their intention, why they want us to cut it in half. So you'll see that in the video where we will be sewing it together. And then you have the yoke.
Heck, yoke?
Yeah, the yoke, they say also cut it in, we want 2 pieces. Why? Why not keep it as a whole? Because this one is going to go over your whole shoulder. This is for the shoulder. It's going to cover the upper part, the shoulder part. Why in half? It's going to create an unnecessary seam. So I'm going to do this, again, the same story as with the collar. I'm going to do this on a folded fabric, but I'm going to keep it as a whole. I'm not going to cut it in half. No idea why they do that. Again, unnecessary seam in the middle, on the back. So guys, what's the deal with this yoke? Why they want you to do 2 yokes? And I told you, do they want us to create an unnecessary seam? No, this is apparently the double yoke. So what you do is you'll have a double yoke as 1 piece, back to back as 1 piece. So what you do is you do one yoke, then you do the back front, you do the back piece, and then you do the yoke on it. And all those 3 layers are still the back. What you create is, you create the back of this. So here you see it. So it's one yoke, and then you do on the other side, the other yoke. So you have a sandwich. This is what you have. They want you to have 2 yokes, 2 pieces of the same, 2 yokes. So you fold them out, you have 2 yokes, and you do a sandwich. One yoke, then the back piece, and then the other yoke on top of it. Which I don't understand. They call it the double yoke. Why would you do a double yoke for a very casual shirt? I told you that we're making this the casual shirt with the short sleeve. Why would you do the effort of making a double yoke for that? I don't know. Not really comfortable with doing that, guys. So I don't know. You'll see what I end up doing. I might go for the double yoke or just do the single yoke, because it's really unnecessary for this kind of shirt. This is just a loose, hanging, nice vacation shirt that we're making here. It's nothing, it's not like a business shirt or anything. So why the trouble? Plus, these kind of shirts with short sleeve are for the summertime. So you have short sleeve, and then you have something like a geisha pillow on your back because of the double yoke. It's gonna make the shirt a little bit too warm on your shoulder, on the upper half of your back. So that's my opinion. I don't know. Look at me. I'm learning to sew and I already have an opinion. But yeah, it's just what it is, guys. I don't know. I might cut them out double and then see what I do. Let's just do that. So that is this piece on double fabric, this piece on double fabric, this piece on double fabric, and then the pocket on single fabric. That's what I'm left with here. So guys, in this case, we're gonna double fold. This is the first time that I'm using this term correctly. Double fold your fabric. So fold it once, and then fold it once again. So like this, 2 layers on top of each other, like this. So you end up with 4 layers of fabric on top of each other. See? Don't separate them from each other. Then put this piece on there. And then do the rough cut as we did with the other pieces. Okay? Right here, the rough cut. So there's the rough cut. Now I'm gonna iron this. See, again, we have 4 layers of fabric. So this is double fold. I'm gonna iron this, come back, and then tape this with the double side tape on there, and then cut it out. Don't cut anything in half yet. Don't separate anything in half yet. So guys, I was too fast and I made a cut here, but for the double yoke, we want 2 yokes. You're gonna have to align them where the fold is before you cut it in half. So this is a mistake by me, but thank God I still have enough space here. That's still one piece, see? This is folded and then folded again. 4 layers, it's folded right here. So thank God I still have enough space. So I'm gonna align the yoke at this 90 degrees corner, like this. Like this. This is the fold, and then you have here the other folds, the layers. But this is the one fold on this side. So, and I'm gonna cut it like this and like that, so that on this side, when I fold it open, it's gonna give me 1 piece. So, okay, so just line it like this, 90 degrees corner. And of course, align this side with this side. So I'm gonna tape it on here and then cut it out like this. And keep this fold as whole. Don't separate it yet. So this is what we have. And then we're going to fold it open like this. And then we have 1 whole yoke, see? And then we're going to fold it Open once more. And you'll end up with 2 yolks. See? And now we're gonna follow this line, and separate them. So now we have 2 yolks. Again, keep them together and continue with the last pieces. So again, for these last 2 pieces, fold the fabric. Here's the fold. See, here's the fold. Fold the fabric, put them on there, do a rough cut. Same thing for the pocket, but the pocket is just, in this case, a single layer of fabric. So look around, see if you have anything left where you can fit this on. Glue it on there. Or again, you can do a line with your paper or a pencil, or you can just use the double-sided tape. Tape it on there. Cut it out. This one, I'm gonna press again, give it a very nice, sharp, folded line here. I'm gonna press it with the iron. Press the whole thing, come back. Use the double-sided tape on this to put them on there, to tape them on there. Cut them out accurately, and then I'll have all the pieces, and that's where I'll stop for today. I mean, it is, I've done now the whole thing so far. I think what I did was cut out the pattern pieces first, then copy them to the fabric, and that's what I'm doing. And it does take time, you guys, at least an hour or 2. Then again, I'm filming it for you. So those are all little breaks. Maybe that's what adds on to this. But yeah, definitely an hour at least, or an hour and a half, if you do not want to rush it and you do not want to rush this. So again, double fabric, fold it, see? Fold the fabric, 2 layers. Press it, create a nice, sharp pressed line here where the fold is. Add these on there with the double-sided tape, cut them out. For the pocket, only 1 layer fabric, and then we're gonna continue assembling them next time when I have some energy again, because my battery is low, guys, at this point. So eventually, this is how they will be assembled. So we have the collar band and the collar that sits on top of the collar band. So you fold them open, and this is what you have. See? Gonna fold them back, keep them together. And then the last piece, which is the pocket. And the last piece for today's video, today's what do you say, the stage of cutting out the fabric, the pocket. That's it, you guys. I'm gonna fold this and store it away for now. Look, there they are, all of them. And we're gonna continue, God willing, in the next video. Hope that you will be with me again. And if you're an expert and you know how to do this, and you see me do something wrong, please correct me. Or if you think I can do something even easier, or maybe I misinterpreted the way they want me to assemble this, whatever, anything that you feel you can help me with, please feel free to share that with me, because I love to learn. And thank you in advance. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. And like I said, don't be intimidated. Go out there and try new things. What's the worst thing that can happen? You're gonna end up with a crooked shirt. Who cares? All right, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment. And see you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Bye-bye.